acting ATF director, Mr. Melson, is in that position for 2 years and met with the Attorney General one time. One time. That's inexcusable in my book. I also think what happened, part of the conclusion, I think validates what we've been concerned about for so long, is that the adult in the room, the head of the criminal division, is supposed to be Lanny Breuer. But Lanny Breuer, having been briefed on what happened previously, knew about gun walking, knew about these straw purchases, and said nothing about it. He didn't issue a new edict that says we're not going to do this anymore. In fact, you would be led to believe that by just allowing it to continue on, no new directive, that he was actually endorsing this. That's what I take around from it. I think this is a wonderful report. I appreciate the thoroughness. I think you're a professional and did a great job. I think you're a little soft on Lanny Breuer. To suggest, as you did on page 314, moreover, Breuer did not supervise Operation Fast and Furious and did not authorize any activities in the investigation, I think is, I would disagree with that statement. Jason Weinstein reported to Lanny Breuer. And this report clearly highlights Jason Weinstein as being made as the key person that was probably most responsible here. I would also point out to my colleagues that on February 4th, 2011, of all the days, the day that we are issued, specific to Senator Grassley, a letter that was totally false about ATF's activities. By the way, this letter doesn't even mention Fast and Furious. It says that these guns were allowed to walk, or that ATF does not allow guns to walk in any way, shape, or form. I would point to the February 4th memorandum about the Assistant Attorney General Breuer going to Mexico. As a synopsis to that, in Mexico, he proposed to the Mexican government, Assistant Attorney General Breuer suggested allowing straw purchases cross into Mexico. I mean, we have in black and white a document suggesting that he's not only approving of these types of activities, he's advocating for these types of activities. So to answer Mr. Cummings' question, it's crystal clear. The head of the criminal division was down there pitching the Mexican government that we ought to be doing more of this. That's why it continued, because the person in charge was advocating for it. He knew about it previously, and when he did hear about it, he did nothing about it. In fact, when that letter on February 4th goes out the door, he had seen it, and he said nothing about it. And then what's worse is, after the letter goes out, everybody at the Department of Justice knows that it's wrong. It takes 10 months for them to fess up on it. In fact, they issue another letter in May, again compounding the problem, hiding from the American people in this Congress the truth. Mr. Chairman, I'd also highlight what is said on page 277 by the Inspector General. We found that the affidavits describe, we're talking about the wiretap applications. We found that the affidavits describe specific incidents that would suggest to a prosecutor who was focused on the question of investigative tactics that the ATF was employing a strategy of not interdicting weapons or arresting known straw purchasers. Nevertheless, June 7th, 2012, the Attorney General testifying in the Judiciary Committee in response to Congressman Quayle, I have looked at these affidavits, I have looked at the summaries, there is nothing in those affidavits as I reviewed them that indicates that gun walking was allowed. A direct contradiction and very different from what the Inspector General has looked at, and I appreciate you seeking the unsealing of these documents so that we can all seal them. Mr. Chairman, I'm also concerned that there was a culture and an environment where people were either afraid or not willing or didn't want to share with the Attorney General key information specific to what we were doing with Mexico. And what I would highlight, and I'm running out of time here, the culture and the environment was not conducive to have the truth surface. It is shocking and troubling to me that that the Department of Justice never communicated to the senior people at the Homeland Security where one of their agents was dead, and still hasn't to this day. I've questioned them. The Secretary of Homeland Security didn't ask the Attorney General what was going on, nor did we ever communicate with Secretary Hilton, Secretary of the State Department, so that she could deal with this situation. We pour thousands of weapons into Mexico, and we never bothered to tell the Secretary of State. Isn't that her job, role, and responsibility? That's one of the things I think we also have to look at, because that is one of the compounding problems that happen along this way, even after we knew all these facts, and still to this day I don't think the Department of Justice ever solved.
Would the Inspector General want to answer any implied question there?
No.
Okay. With that, we recognize the gentlelady from New York, Ms. Maloney, for 5 minutes.
First of all, I'd like to welcome the IG and note that he is from the great state of New York. We're very proud of you, even though you're now a Washingtonian, and congratulations on your public service. We appreciate very much your report. First of all, on guns, if you were so concerned about guns on the border, then